You know, we all like to think we're in complete control of our thoughts, right? Especially when things are going our way. But what if I told you that the very moment you succeed, your brain activates a silent virus, a little program designed to destroy your potential? It's a paradox that trips up even the smartest people. So let's explore how it works. So think about it for a second. That big promotion, right? The project that just landed perfectly, that personal goal you finally hit. Just really relish that feeling. Because what happens in the moments after that win, that's what truly determines your future.
And look, this isn't just some motivational fluff. We're talking about real cognitive mind traps, glitches that are literally hardwired into our brains. You can't just delete them, but you can become one of the very few people who can spot them before they take over.
We're calling this the ego virus, and is a fascinating psychological phenomenon. See, your brain, in an attempt to protect your new, successful identity, starts playing this dangerous game of rewriting reality. It's not a character flaw. Think of it more like a software bug in the human mind. Okay, so let's look at the first symptom. I call it the halo of infallibility. It shows up almost immediately after a win, and it creates this dangerous kind of blindness to what's really going on. So the halo effect is when one positive thing, like a recent success, outshines everything else and just completely distorts the full picture. Your brain loves a simple story, and with limited information, that story becomes, hey, I'm a winner, so therefore I'm just going to keep winning. Look at how powerfully this works. Let's try a little experiment. If I tell you Alan is intelligent, industrious, and then a little stubborn and envious, you probably see him in a pretty good light, right? But what if I introduce Ben as envious and stubborn first? You get a totally different impression, even though the traits are exactly the same. That first word, that creates the halo.
And this plays out in the real world all the time. That first success creates an expectation of future success. Not just in how others see you, but, and this is the dangerous part, in how you see yourself. You start to believe your own halo, and you stop doing the hard work that got you the win in the first place.
So this is the million-dollar question you have to ask yourself. Is your success the product of a solid process, or was it just good timing, maybe a bit of luck, and the positive vibes of others? The answer to that question separates the one-hit wonders from the consistent winners. Okay, next up, we have symptom number 2, the always correct echo chamber. See, once the virus takes hold, it starts to defend itself. It builds this little bubble around you that filters reality, all to make sure you always feel right. And the primary defense mechanism here is the self-serving bias. This is a deeply human tendency. Our wins are because we're brilliant, of course, but our failures, well, that's someone else's fault. It feels great in the moment, but it completely short-circuits our ability to learn anything. I mean, this is the classic example, right? When things go well, it was our genius strategy. When they go badly, it's the market, the algorithm, the weather, literally anything but our own misjudgment. This bias makes it impossible to learn from our mistakes, because deep down, we don't even believe they are our mistakes. Then the self-serving bias gets supercharged by its partner in crime, confirmation bias. Your brain actually starts to hunt for evidence that you're right, and it conveniently filters out, or just forgets, anything that suggests you might be wrong. And this is where it gets really, really dangerous. These biases push you into echo chambers. You start surrounding yourself with people who agree with you, who just reinforce your halo. Dissenting opinions, they just fade away. And your I'm always correct ego gets stronger and stronger, trapped in a reality of your own making. Okay, so that's the virus. It's powerful, and it's wired into all of us. But there is an antidote. And it's not about feeling small. It's about being smart. The key here is to completely reframe what you think humility is. It is not a personality trait you're born with, no. It is an active, repeatable process, a system of habits you build to keep your ego in check and stay connected to reality. So here's how the system works. It's 3 simple steps. First, you have to actively seek honest feedback, especially from people who aren't afraid to disagree with you. Second, after a win, be brutally honest with yourself. What part was pure skill, and what part was just good old-fashioned luck? And third, learn to detach. Don't take criticism personally, but here's the trick. Don't take praise personally either. Treat all of it as data. You can really see the 2 paths diverge right here. After a win,
The ego virus path, that leads to blaming others and seeking confirmation. It treats any disagreement as a personal attack. But the humility system path is totally different. It's about seeking accountability, analyzing luck for skill, and actually welcoming disagreement as a chance to learn something new.
Now, that system is the antidote for sure. But for the long-term cure, we need a fundamental shift in mindset. It's about becoming a perpetual student, moving away from identifying as a winner and toward identifying as a learner. There's this great quote from Galileo that just captures this perfectly. The goal isn't for someone else to keep you humble. The real goal is to develop this self-awareness to find these biases within yourself, to become a student of your own mind traps.
And that's really the ultimate takeaway here. True, sustainable success isn't about reaching a single peak. It's about the climb itself. Overcoming the ego virus isn't some one-time fix. It's the daily practice of just taking the next step and making sure your growth never, ever stops.
So I'll leave you with this question. When you think about that last big win, do you see it as a destination you've arrived at, a finish line? Or do you see it as the starting line for the next, more interesting challenge? How you answer that, well, it might just tell you if the virus has already started to work.